Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn. It's Gregory Goldston here with the hat trick on Wednesday, August the 27th, and we're going to start going over the stuff on the right side. First of all, we have our Decisions Training YouTube channel. Highly recommend taking a look at that. That is going to provide information in regards to how to utilize our product, how you can view previous lunch and learns. They'll be there as well. We've got things such as the Kafka module overview. We've got how to use Excel steps. We've got a video on the Nform session step, which we showcased in yesterday's lunch and learn, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. So highly recommend taking a look there. Below that, we have the Decision Solutions Marketplace, where you can pull in projects that are pre-built to utilize, pull parts from, or reverse engineer for your own processes and decisions. I think the last time I was on here, I mentioned there were like 2 AI ones featured. Well, there are more than 2 AI ones featured now. So highly recommend taking a look if you're curious about that. And then below that, we have the Decisions Product Roadmap Review. This is a place where you can view new features that are coming to the product. It's a series of meetings you sign up for at decisions.com/events. So if you want to see some of the stuff that's coming down the pipeline, recommend signing up for that. All right. With that all being said, it's time to switch over to my decisions environment and start taking some questions from the Q&A. So give me a moment while I hop on over. And all right, here we go. All right, let me pull up my participants and the questions. All right, well, so far we don't have any questions in the Q&A. And yeah, well, I can start going over some of the new stuff with version 9.14, which is what we're on right now. In Decisions version 9.14, I think I've talked about this before. I don't have a way to display it without getting up a settings XML file. I might be able to do that. But the idea is that in Decisions version 9.14, you have the ability to use browser time zone translation. And let me give a quick overview of time zone translation in the first place. So in Decisions, you have the ability to set certain time zones for certain accounts, okay? So every account would have its own time zone that you can configure. It's not under user culture. It might be under location. Here, time zone right here. So you can set different time zones for users' accounts. And by using something called the Enable Time Zone Translation, if your server is set to UTC that Decisions is installed against, then you can leverage Decisions time zone translation capabilities to translate the time zone for whatever user has whichever time zone specified here. This is an old feature. This has been around for a while in Decisions. What's new is another settings in the settings XML has been added that allows you to get the time zone from a user's browser instead. And when you enable that in the settings XML, it will not respect these permissions that you set for the time zone, but wherever browser is accessing Decisions, it will use that time zone instead. So that is a neat new feature that's been added to Decisions version 9.14. I'm still trying to pull up a copy of the settings XML so I can show you guys where that is. Give me a moment to do that because I got to go into my C drive over here and grab that. Decision server. I open that. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, moving this over now. Okay. So this is the Decisions settings XML for my current environment. If you are installed against any sort of Windows-like environment with Decisions, you're going to have access to this. If you're installed in a container, you're going to be looking for the environment variables instead, which have a similar functionality. So anyways, if I Control F and search this for time zone translation, this is the original one that allows you to utilize time zone translation. And the one below it, the use browser time zone translation, is what you would need to enable in order for it to use the time zone translation. Now, keep in mind, in order to use this, you must have the setting above it enabled to true. If Decisions can't time zone translate anything in the first place, it can't pull it from a user's browser. So both of these have to be true if you want to pull from a user's browser. If you want to respect the time zone translation, as you've said on a user account, you set the top one to true, you set the bottom one to false. And that is one of our new features in Decisions version 9.14. By the way, I'm just going through this stuff until I get some questions from y'all. So feel free to post away. If you don't have any, then that's not a problem. And we just got a question as I was saying that. How can I upload a PDF source document on Decisions to read factor names tables using any of the AI modules on Decisions? PDF source document. Unfortunately, this was an anonymous attendee, so I don't really know who to unmute to discuss this if they wish to discuss. But let me go over and talk about that. So first of all, let's talk about the AI modules and what you can utilize, and then we'll go into that part. So in order to access any sort of modules and decisions, you go under Settings, Administration, Features, and then you pick which module you're going to download. For all the AI modules, you need AI Common. That's going to help you actually configure your prompts against your particular AI model, and then you'll download the module for your AI model you're using, such as Google Vertex, OpenAI, Anthropic, AWS, Azure Foundry. That's a new one added in version 9.13, actually, and Google Gemini. So once you've got that configured, you go into your project over here. You're going to make sure that the module's a dependency. I'm just going to make sure everything's set up. AI right here shows up under integrations, which means it's already a dependency. If you don't know how to set a dependency, it's under configuration, dependencies, and then go to manage. Check your modules, and you can put them all in this way. I'll just add this one as well, because why not? Okay, so with that being said, what you're asking about is how to upload a PDF source document. So this is the part that I don't fully know if I understand. So you say a PDF source, a source for what? I feel like I have to make some assumptions until you can specify who you are and I know who to unmute from the attendees list. But if you're trying to import a PDF into Decisions, let's say it's a very large file, typically the way that you want to pass in a PDF through some sort of API call is by using a particular flow behavior called the post to flow handler. The post to flow handler has some unique data that already comes with it. There's going to be these project constants you have access to, and then there's call data. This call data is where you have all the information about your payload, the form that you're passing it into, if you're passing it as binary or if you're going to pass it in a different way. This is where you would fetch this information from so that you can use it inside of your flow. And the reason we recommend this post to flow handler is so that you can process files more efficiently inside of Decisions. Once the file is uploaded by an API call to Decisions with this information specified, you'll have access to that inside of your flow, and you can pull that PDF from the call data. So now, as far as reading factor names from a PDF, I'm not sure I understand that part of the question. So PDF source document decisions to read factor names tables. I can do a quick Google search and see what factors names tables are. I don't know if that's use case specific. Okay. Yes, I can unmute you. Yes, cool. All right, I am going to, hold on, where'd my attendees go? Give me just a moment. I don't know where my attendees went. Okay, I got you. Thank you. All right, you can talk.
All right, Gregory. Just a quick one to give you a better context so that you don't go vaguely try to explain it. The whole idea behind reading the source documents is this. before reading the source document, I want to try to create a flow that will request a template ID, which then creates a template record. This will also request like the template sector name from that source document. That source document is like a PDF. It contains a table in it in particular pages. It has the factors and the sub-factor. So what I want to try and do is see how I can use AI to read those factors and sub-factors so that I can read the factor names from that table. That particular source document has something like it's a public record, so I can share it from here. Sector competitive industry, industry profile, market position, and whatnot. So each of these um, um, business and financial profile uh, shows the different ratings you can give to a particular user or entity or a corporate. So basically, I've started the flow kind of on how to request a template and create a template record. And I think I also requested a template sector name to create a template sector record for that template. But I got stuck with trying to, because I know I can't use a form. I can't use the upload form or how to use a form. I can't use that to read that source document. So the whole idea is for the decisions, be able to read that document. The document is in PDF. Uh, extract the content of that document to be able to read the factor names from those tables, like the one I mentioned, and produce an output in a JSON line format.
Okay. So if that PDF document is readily accessible, it sounds like you're going to try and like make an integration to that external source if you're not importing the PDF document inside of Decisions. That's what it sounds like. Am I understanding that correctly?
I didn't just get all the sentences you said just now. Can you repeat yourself?
So you have a PDF document that you don't have the ability to upload to Decisions, but there is some sort of path that leads to that PDF document that Decisions needs to fetch information from and bring it back in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're making any sort of external integration in Decisions to anywhere, if that is publicly available, you're going to go under Manage and go under Integrations. That's where you're setting this up. All right. Now, it doesn't sound like it's in a database. I could be wrong, but it doesn't sound like it's in a database. If it's not in a database, you're going to want to check an external service and set up some sort of connection to that particular service. I don't know how it's accessible. GraphQL is available. REST service is a very simple way to make a GET or a POST call from a website, right? So a service name, you're going to have that PDF that's publicly accessible. You can put the
Oh,
service URL of that, put a GET request, get the
hold on,
information back.
Gregory. That document is like it's a document that I can easily post on Decisions as long as there's an environment I can upload it on Decisions. So it's a readable document, and I just in the way I can upload that document on Decisions so that AI can help me to read it and extract the factor names from it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's not external, if you can just upload it on Decisions, there are a few ways you can do that. One, if you want to keep uploading it, then you can absolutely do the form. You would put the form with the file upload. If you just want it like somewhere accessible from Decisions, you can just keep it on the local machine that Decisions is installed against, and you have the ability. I don't know if I'm where to go. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go this one real quick and we'll, oh, that's not it. Let's create a new one. All you would need to do is use one of these steps, these file steps real quick. Where are they? Add file,
Okay.
get file exists. I don't
Load
think it's
file.
load. I'm trying to
Okay.
check it. Is it load file? Is it load file?
Does it bring out the option of telling you which document you input, whether it's a CSV, PDF.
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm understanding this. So you can't upload it by a form, but it has to.
I'm
How
not
are you
sure
supposed?
if I can upload it by form. I think I tried it. It only gave X XLMS file, CSV, and it didn't highlight anything like PDF. So I
No,
was
you
thinking
can
if I use
upload
the tool to,
PDF if that's the issue. You can upload PDF. Yeah, if you're trying to do that, you would create a form for a file document upload. So give me a moment. Exit and save.
yeah,
So I'll create a form for that.
okay. File upload, okay.
And then you have a file upload
Upload
form control, and then
and a button for upload, yeah.
yeah, so this will be I'll say confirm. I'll call the button confirm. Select file,
Okay,
file type. I'm going to output it as file data, but you can also do file reference. Either one would function.
okay,
You can specify file extensions. If you don't specify file extensions, it will still output that file over here. So whatever
okay,
file I drag into here will now be accessible as file data inside of where to go. Is it fetch document? So I just made? Yeah, we'll do that. So show form, drag that over, pick the form we just made. We have a confirm. If I debug this right now, it's going to show up right on my screen. I can select a file to drag over here. I'm going to drag over, where'd it go? I'm going to drag over just a JPEG just to show you that this functions. Oh, I think it's going to make me select file. Let me give it a file upload area just so I can do this properly. Give me a moment.
okay,
So what this does is it's the same thing as the button, except you can just drag and drop the file over or choose it. It just gives you both options. That's all.
okay.
This is just for the sake of demonstration. This is so I can drag it over from somewhere else. That's the reason I'm doing that. So let me move this here, and we're going to drag this over on debug. Drag this over here. That's a file right there. If I confirm, we can check that that file does indeed get passed out with the file name, the size, the file date time, and the ID. It's going to have a list of contents, which is going to be the serialized bytes inside of the file.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to get passed out and utilized. So if I want to display that file or pull stuff from that file, I can do that. If it's an Excel file, I have the ability to convert other documents to PDF if that's what our goal is, or we're trying to convert it to a different kind of document. But yeah, this would get your file into the flow.
Okay. This should be able to help me get the file into the flow. Okay, fetch documents. Okay.
All I did
I'll
is a file upload area in a form, and that will pass the file into the flow.
yeah, I'll pick it. Yeah, I know what to do if it's that. Yeah. I'll have a look at it and probably see how it works.
All right,
Thanks,
sounds
Gregory.
good.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, let me go on to the next question here real quick. And there are a few of them. There's another anonymous attendee who posted a question. Whoever that is, if you want me to answer it, raise your hand. I'm going to read the question first. And if that's you and you want to talk, just raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll answer it honestly. I have two questions. I have a rule with a multiple if and else statements. How do I account for this in create rule? Secondly, can I use decisions for ETL and how? So those are the two questions that we have. For the first question, okay, here, I'm going to allow you to talk. All right, you should be good to talk now.
Hi, Greg.
Hello, hello. All right, rule with multiple if and else statements. How do I account for this and create rule? All right, let me show you how this works. So is it just a statement rule? Like, it's an if then else, but you just have wait a minute. What are you trying to do? Let me get a little more context. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, it's a statement rule. Yeah, basically. we sort of create these rules and flows to clean data, and have this multiple rule here that I've not been able to figure out how it will work. So say
You're trying to create multiple if-else statements. Would they be chained in a row? Do you want conditions on whether one runs or not?
yeah, let's say, let me just give an idea. Say something like, if date of purchase is empty, that's one. And if current amount is greater than 0, if previous date is not empty, then we have then a couple of other statements in between. So if I could just convert this, what I can do, maybe rephrase the statement so that you can see.
Refresh a statement so you can see. I'm not able to see your screen. I'm not going to be able to share anything on your end.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, how I can maybe.
We don't share share customer screens on Lunch and Learn because that's sharing their business logic and these get posted to YouTube. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, this is not going to be a business logic. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, not share the business logic, but just transfer it to a statement that is done.
So, all right. So wait, you're trying to create multiple. It sounds like there are two ways I'm interpreting this, and I don't know which way is correct. All right. So it sounds like there's one way that takes in a list of rules. I'm gonna what were we talking about? This was like purchase amount. And what was the other field that you had mentioned? Purchase date.
Yeah. Purchase amount is decimal, of course, but purchase date is date.
Okay. Let's start with these two real quick. So we have these two inputs, purchase amount and purchase date. All right. So you have the ability to configure and logic on these. So if you say like purchase amount is less than or equal to 0, you can always add another condition to that, and purchase date after, before days, same date, less than specified, right? So let's just say that the purchase date is, so the purchase amount is less than 0, and the purchase date is
Purchase amount is greater than 0.
greater than 0. Okay, we'll do a purchase amount is greater than 0. All right. So if the purchase amount is greater than, greater than 0, and the purchase date
is not empty.
Not empty. So exists. Purchase date exists.
You can just say, or if you just say is not null, is not null.
Is not null. I can do is not null as well.
Okay, yeah. No, there.
Okay, so you can set up and logic like this. That would be just like both of these have to be true in order to evaluate true. Otherwise, evaluate false. That's the one way I'm interpreting this.
Yeah, this step is straightforward. I understand it up to this step. Now, assuming you have, but instead of the purchase date, you have something called previous purchase date.
Okay.
So I'm just added to the input, and also you also have and we're saying that one is not empty.
And previous purchase date is not empty.
Yes.
Okay. and previous purchase date is not null. Like that?
Yeah. So then you have another option where you have all statement in there. Okay, I think,
Oh, an or statement.
yeah, then you have another input there, but it's it with an or, not and this time around.
Gotcha.
gonna
All
do-
right. All right. Well, let's see if we can I copy all this? Let me move all these down. Give me a moment. Yeah, I had a feeling that wasn't going to work. Cut. Paste. Cut. Paste. Cut.
In fact, I
Paste.
think,
And then you have an or statement here, right? That you would add a condition to for something else to evaluate. I can just keep adding ors by doing this, by the way. Is that what you're looking for? Is multiple possible like ors, like else this, or?
it's because someone mentioned that it's not possible to have multiple if in decisions, multiple if and a statement. Actually, this I have. If there's no direct question now, I might just rephrase the question and give it, or maybe let you go to someone else. Then I'll come back.
Yeah, you can have multiple. Well, there's only technically one if statement, right? In this, we're putting either or logic in this, but you can have what are called rule sets, which allow you to chain multiple rules together under a set condition. And what that would mean, I'm going to go over and make it right over here so you can see what I'm talking about. A rule set would allow you to create additional rules inside of it. I'm going to change this, not debug. I'm going to change the functionality of this. This is going to be a template with instances. So, or actually, let's make it conditional. Let's make it conditional, and we'll allow truth tables and matrix rules in this as well. Okay, so what this does is this is the primary rule set that gets run, rule set 1. And I can say this is my outer rule set. Okay, I'll call this my outer rule set. And it has something called set control. This is a statement rule that can check for a particular condition. If it is true, it will run the rest of the rules in here. So I can add another evaluation rule in here. I'm not going to add logic right now, but then I can add another one, evaluation rule 2. And this would mean that if this is true, run these other rules, right? If it's not true, then we're going to create oh, I meant to make that in a different folder. Give me a moment. You can have this one that would run if these conditions are met. So you can have multiple rules that all run, and this run rule set itself is a singular step inside of your flow. So if I go to any one of these flows over here, and I go to the
Wrong rule.
Yeah, run rule set. It is slightly different than the run rule. So run rule set allows me to pick that rule set that will run all of those rules inside of there and evaluate for true or false.
Okay.
Is that more what you're looking for?
I think that might be it, because if you go back to the previous, where we have the single if statement.
I'll go back to it real quick. So
Yeah,
you mean the first thing I showed you?
Yeah, because what I have here is not just a single if statement. I have, say for instance, if A equals B if C is greater than 0, at least 5 of them, then else statement. So that is not a single if statement. You can use the normal rule for. Like when you go to create rule.
Right, right. You can chain
does
those
not
kind of
account for
rules
that one.
together in that logic. Yes.
So in this case, you need the rule set.
I'm not saying need. I don't know your use case yet. I'm trying to understand fully what you're doing, but it sounds like the rule set would be helpful for chaining together those different results and have conditions that run based on other conditions, and then evaluate
okay.
all those ifs individually.
Yeah, let me try and paint a picture of what I'm saying. Or I'll let you take somebody else's question, then I'll come back with better clarification, because it seems like the rule set is the closest to it. I want to have all the conditions in one statement, so that when I'm working with the flow, I easily just, like, instead of run rule, I run rule set or whatever it is. I want everything, or the condition, in one statement. So that when I'm going to call it in a flow, I'm calling just one rule set that accounts for different possibilities.
Yeah, it does sound like what you're looking for is a rule set, and specifically, it sounds like the rule set that you're looking for is hold on, where is it? Where's my rule set? Okay, it sounds like the kind of rule set that you're looking for is the instance. And what this does is it sounds like exactly what you're looking for. Instead of these set control rules that you have right here, I'm going to delete these. All it does is it allows you to create a bunch of evaluation rules in one place. And by using this one step, it will execute all of them.
Yeah, because like if I created one and say, oh, if previous date is not empty, that was to be there. Then I could go there, go back and say, oh, if purchase amount is greater than 0, everything is still unaccounted for. And as I go down for different conditions, I get to see all and all that. So it didn't look like the other one will work. So
it sounds like a combination of using the rule set as well as the either or condition. That's what it sounds like is what you're talking about, is some combination of those two. And you can create either ors in any of the rules you set in here, of course.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm going to try. If you go back, how did you get to the rule set from?
The rule set, I'll show you exactly how I created it. What I did is I clicked on create rule, and on the left there's a rule set category. There's only one option here, and that's what you'll make.
Okay. And there are different types. It could be, you said you should choose the instance.
There are 3 different kinds of rule sets you can create. There are, and you configure it up here in the settings once you make it. These are the types. There is an instance, which it just runs all of the statement rules inside of there. There's no additional logic to it outside of every rule inside of it gets run and evaluates for true or false. Template with instances means that there's one default set of rules that get run, but you can also specify, depending on other criteria, which other set of rules gets run inside of there. So a template with instances, for example, is what we use in our, let me go to this, insurance claim project. I'm going to pull this out. It's already created. This is a template with instances. The claims processing for this particular insurance claim has 3 default rules that run for every single client. It doesn't matter what kind of client you are, these always run. But then for client A, they get this set of rules that run for them. Client B gets this set of rules, and then client C gets this set of rules, and so on and so forth. That's the template with instances. And then conditional, the last one, will have, that was the first one I showed, where you have a rule that checks whether it runs all the rest of the rules in that subfolder. And it checks each subfolder to see if it should run those rules or not, based upon the information you pass in.
Yeah.
By the way, this entire recording will go up on our YouTube channel. So if you need to review any of this, it'll be there for your viewing.
That's okay. Then I'll give it a try.
Sounds good.
Then the other part of the question, if how we can use a decision for ETL.
Let me look into that as far as what you'd utilize. I could think of different ways to build it from scratch as far as taking in information from different data sources and then conforming them to a decisions object and passing it out. But I don't know if there is a default capability of that. Like you could follow that design paradigm in decisions. You can absolutely do it. But as far as what you're looking for in a single step or two, let me investigate that and I can
Okay,
send
now-
you a message about what I find.
Yeah, no problem. I'll let you investigate and send me a message down.
Cool,
Okay.
cool. Sounds good.
All right, thanks. Let someone else.
Yeah,
take
sure
the
thing.
question.
Yeah, I'll still be here. I'm gonna address Joe's question real quick, and then I will come back to the second question. So, Joe, since a page does not have active form flows, how do you pass a variable to a report that is on a page? That is a set report dashboard parameters. That's exactly how you do that, Joe. You're talking about like value for like a filter or something, right?
I have the report based upon a query that has two parameters. So in the filter, I put two parameters. The query is producing everything, but the filters is what's going to restrict that query. And then I just want to pass as I want to, as that page loads, I want to make sure I can pass in the two parameters to that page so that the proper report shows.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about that. One quick and there's a quick and easy way to do this. I'll have to check if this is the most performant way to do it, but it works. So let's get a simple tile over here, and then let's get a report viewer down here. All right, I'm going to create a report real quick. Do I have an accounts report? Let's go. Okay, so if I go in here, I have an account data source. I'm going to add account ID. I'm going to add email address. Let's get the create by date. And then you got a filter over here that's coming from a query, right? Or something along
Right.
those lines. All right. So I'm just going to create a field filter. That
Right.
filter from the query, I'm just going to put it on the email address for this one, and I'll just say equals for sake of example. Now
Right.
for this one, I'll pick not runtime editable, and then let's save this. And I want to call this filter name EA, email address. I'll just call it address. All right, so let's call it address. I'm going to save that. And this is just the default report that's going to be displayed on the page. I'm going to create a simple tile real quick. Run this over here. Run this here. Let's use a set dashboard. And then folder ID. Oh, lovely. I didn't grab the folder ID. I'll grab that in a moment. And then here's my placeholder step. This placeholder step is just going to be our query. So this is our query made to an external
Right.
database. It passes out some information. Information comes in here. I'm going to pick the report. It's the accounts report that we're adding on. The report parameter is the account, and I'm going to hit OK. The account is going to come in from that query, right? You pick flow data and get that query information to pass in the filter here. Again, for our example, I'll just put in a constant just so you can see how this would function. And now let me just add this to a dashboard and grab that folder ID. Exit, save. Let's go to public folder. Already have one. Sweet. This is test. Tile data. I'm going to add it to tile data actually. So grab this, get folder ID, copy text. And then we want to go back here, go to our pages.
Oh, so that's the case, set dashboard report parameters.
That should be the step. Let's confirm this functions real quick, but I'm pretty sure this is what's going to get this running right here. So I did it to tile data, which means I want to add the page here. Save that, pick the page, and is it not running? Give me a moment. Let's confirm what's going on real quick. Show goal debugger, turn that on. Let's go back. Let's refresh this. Tile source flow, query, that's fine. Admin decisions.com, that gets put in. That's going to be the folder account, create tile. That's fine. That's not passing out anything. Set dashboard report parameters. What's going on? What am I doing wrong with this? This is the right line of thinking though, as far as setting this up. The only reason I picked a simple tile part is because I know they get kicked off at the very start of the flow. Yeah, and then let me edit this. What is going on here? I picked the report. It's account. I know it's account. It's address. That's what it was. It's address. Hold on. Is list rules editor is the type string, and then address is the constant. It might be something wrong with the report that I created in this. Yes, I would. If this doesn't work, we're going to make one more update. There we go. Yeah, that's where it is. So it's only showing that particular one. It just filtered it over here. It set the dashboard parameters, and now that only shows it here. So you're basically running a query in the background. Now, that is not the only step or page control that will allow you to kick off a query at the start. I just picked one that I knew would function for this. But is this kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, I just got to fool around with it, but yeah, pretty much it.
The two main ways I know to kick this off, just so you're aware and you can use whichever one fits your use case better, are the simple tile, which will kick off at the start, and then you can also use it to display information, so kind of a twofold purpose there. And then you also have the flow run part, which will also kick off at the very beginning. So both
So
of
those
these,
you don't have to set automatically to run. They're by default they run.
That is exactly right. Now, the flow run part, I should mention with this one, if you don't put anything in it that stops it like a form, it will keep refreshing over and over again. So the use of the flow run part would be, you would have perhaps that dashboard parameter that you set up, right? And then you would have the ability inside of this to maybe change the filter. You would create a form that would display to user, tiny form with a drop down or a search or something like that. So it allows for that capability. If you're just trying to run it and you don't need that, the simple tile is going to probably be a better option. And again, I don't know if these are the only two options, or these are the ones that I know right off the top of my head.
Okay. All right, well, that helps.
Cool. All right, let's go to the next question that we have here, which is still on my file upload. Do I need to click on specify inputs? And also, what changes does picking file data as the output type have on the form? Please clarify on the specified allow extensions again. Absolutely. You should be available to talk still. I don't need to unmute you again. You should be able to just unmute yourself. Let's go over that.
Just double checking on the form to be sure it's all properly set up. On the property panel on the right there, you mentioned something about specify allowed extensions.
Yes.
Clicking on it, what does it do to the document I want to upload if I click on it?
So specify allowed extensions means that you can restrict users to uploading files of certain types. So let's say I only want them to upload .pdf and .xml files. Let's just say that would only allow those types of files to be uploaded here. So this is a way to restrict users to only use the types of files that are listed.
Okay.
Yep, that's what specified allows. If you don't specify anything, it will allow all types of
All
file
documents.
extensions. Just
Alright,
yeah,
that's
just
fine.
uncheck it.
Uh,
File reference and file data. This is honestly probably a whole lesson in itself, but let me at least talk about the differences. File data is not database stored. It is used in the flow. You can use it inside of the flow, but once your flow completes, this does not get saved anywhere. So you have to re-upload the document whenever it runs, which may be what you're looking for. Every time you initiate the flow, you upload a document, and then once the document's done, you just don't save it anywhere, right? File reference has the ability to save files to your default folder inside of your server. So your folder tree, right? This is just the default one you have when you're operating a Windows-like PC.
okay.
So it would save it here. I'm gonna let me get to the place and I'll drag it over so you can see what's going on. Just let me
Okay.
get there first. Program files, decisions. All right, here we go. All right, we're over here. Here's the network drive, right? So anything in file reference has the ability to be saved in file storage. That file
Okay.
storage is going to have different places where things are saved. It will save it in, it's either data store or flow data. I'll have to confirm. It's one of those two. But what that means is that that file persists on your machine and is very quick to access because it's not saved to the database. You don't have to make database calls to get this information.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's nice, so if I go back to the flow, you would want to like create file reference entity. I'll show you where that step is real quick. Go back to our flows. I'll just use the run form, why not? And then under integration, internal services, we're going to go over here and I'm going to look for the file reference service. And then you would use something called create entity from file reference. What this allows you to do is you can attach this file to a folder. All right. So any folder and decisions, you can attach this file to that folder, have access to it there, and it creates the file reference that's stored on the server side.
Okay.
So that's what that type of file. Both of them will work in your flow as far as using data. Both will allow you to use data and work with your files in the flow. This is about more where are your files saved, right? Do
Saved,
you
okay.
want them saved or do you want it to just, you know, pass it in the flow? AI does everything it wants with it and then you pass out your information and then you just start with a new file the next time someone else goes through it, right? So depends on what you're going to be doing. Both of them will function for connecting with the AI you're talking about.
All right. That's sorted, spot on. Now, after uploading this source document, how do I attach the AI component to it where it helps me to read the tables in the form or the tables in the document, I mean.
All AI capabilities inside of your flow are going to be under the AI section right here under all steps. And this is going to let you use all of the AI tools available. So depending on which one you're using, I don't know which one you're using, but you have chat completion with OpenAI. You have the ability to upload a file with OpenAI, fine tuning with OpenAI. You have the Google Vertex to get AI prediction, get embedding for text. This is going to depend. You have chat completion here. You specify your providers, get providers. It depends on which one you have configured for your company here. You may have multiple. I'm not really sure, but this is where you would have access to all those AI steps is underneath this category right here.
Which one probably reads documents better, reads a table better among the models there?
I have, if in all honesty, I have no idea
No
which
idea.
AI model is best at
I'll
that.
I'll do my homework on that. I'll do my homework on that.
Yeah.
So
I'd be curious to know, but I honestly don't know right now.
now outputting the tables read from the document in JSON line format.
Mm-hmm.
How can I capture that on the flow?
The moment that you have a decisions type, let's say you've put everything into decisions type, right? So you've mapped everything to your decision structure. We were talking about those database structures that need to be created, right? You can create all those different structures that hold those here. Once you do that, you have the ability to convert any decision structure to a JSON. Where is it? Where's my flow? So there are a list of JSON serialized and deserialized steps. So with JSON serialized, that will allow you to take any of your created JSON types over here, right? So your decisions type, I can pick my decisions type over here, and then the object to serialize will come out here. And this is going to be a long text of JSON serialized string from your decisions object. So this step outputs JSON.
I'll make sure I check the YouTube channel to follow through with this video on that.
Yeah, sure thing. But yeah, JSON serialized would be how you turn any of your structures that you've mapped all of your table fields into a JSON type.
So that I'll put at the end of the form on the flow, right?
At the end of the flow. So if you're making an API, I don't know how you're trying to get this information, if it's user interactive or API call, but you can just output the JSON, or if you want a form to display it to the end user for them to download as a file, you can create a file and pass it in. There are a lot of different ways you can work with it. But the point is this little string right here is now JSON serialized text, and you can put it wherever you want.
Crystal clear.
Cool, cool.
Thank
Glad to hear it.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. And with that, that is actually our last question in here. So, and besides, we only have 7 minutes left anyway. So I will wrap up this lunch and learn. Appreciate y'all for attending and look forward to seeing you next time. I think tomorrow we're going to have Jeremy leading the charge on Thursday, the 28th. So
Just
have a great day. Y'all.
sorry,
Yes.
before you go.
Yes.
So, yeah, when I go on the rule set, there's the option to add. Like this is what I have. This is what I have.
I'm
I
not
have-
going to be able to see your screen from here.
I'm just. You don't
Oh,
have to
sorry,
see
sorry.
it. I just want to read it out.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a hypothetical case. It's not a business anything. So basically on the rule set, I've created it. I see the add option there. So the different data type that I have here, the first one says if underlying measures is empty, if current balance is equal to 0, then underlying measures equals 0. S, underlying measures equals current balance of the output plus sum of current balance of all other outputs. So
Okay.
what I did, when I click on rule set, then from there I click on add, where it's asking me to create. So I'm wondering, am I supposed to add the different if statements individually after that?
That's what it sounds like you're trying to do, is create those statements. I should mention something in this configuration, this rule set setup over here. You can choose which type of rule types you can create.
Can we try and do this? What I have here in there, creating the input in the rule set.
Creating the input for the rule set. The inputs go here. You see it right here?
I already have. Yeah, I think we already have that set already. If you go to show editor.
Okay.
Okay, if you put underlying measures as integer,
All right.
Then current balance, decimal.
Whoop.
Then the other one that talks about sum of current balance, that should be maybe sum of other values, sum of all values, and that should be decimal as well.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try.
All
Try
right.
with
You'll have
this.
access to all those in these here now. Yep.
Okay, so the first part is underlying measures is empty. Underlying measures. Oh, okay, put it as measures. Okay. It's okay.
Is null.
It's null, yeah. Then the next one is current balance
Okay.
equals 0. Then underlying measures equals 0. So that where you change the value, you change the value to 0.
Oh, you want to update that value to 0. So you want to set the measure equal to
that's what
0.
they say. If current balance equals 0, then underlying measure equals 0.
Okay. So I'm going to allow actions right over here. So we'll checkbox. And if that is true, then we want
Change
to
value.
change the value of the measure to 0.
Yeah. S, the last S. The other part says S, underlying measure equals current balance of the output plus sum of all current balance of other output.
Output equals the
So
sum of current balance.
basically saying underlying measures should be equal to what we have before plus sum of every other one.
Okay. So we're trying to add, we're trying to perform an addition in here.
Yeah, I think so. Saying it says S underlying measures equals current balance, which we already, sorry, current balance.
Yep. I'm running a run sum flow here so we can actually work with this information and pass it out. And then the output is going to be oh, it's not going to give us access to that information inside of the flow. Okay, never mind. Hold on. If you're trying to do addition inside of the rule with the current information that's in here, we might have to configure this differently. Let me
I have a look and also message me on it. Just there's some of those complex rules that I have to work with. Once I figure out how to get around them, to make the project easier.
Right. So let's think here. You can execute certain if then flows to be able to do that. You don't have to use a statement rule to execute information on it, right? So like I can have these where'd they go? I can have evaluation flows to transform data as well. These are different controls that I can add besides just an if statement in that in order to output additional data and perform transformation on it. Yeah, I might have to, yeah, I might have to look into that. Let me reach out to someone and ask as far as that is concerned with the statement rules.
Mm.
But yeah. Cool.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. Of course. Yeah,
I'll
I'll
expect
let you
your
know what I
update.
find.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And
Right,
that will
okay,
wrap it
bye-bye.
up for today. Cool. Yep. Thank you all very much for attending. Look forward to seeing you not next week, tomorrow, actually.
Okay, bye-bye.
Adios.